What's going on, guys? It's Obsessed Turf, and welcome back to another episode of my lawn care journey. Today we are in the backyard. We're going to work on pavers. My pavers are shifting. If you've had challenges with your pavers shifting, this might be an episode for you. It could be a combination of either loose edging, warped edging, or no edging at all. In our case, it's warped edging. So let's go back and have a look of going through the process of removing the old edging and replace it with new.
All right, so this is the paver edging. As you can see, it's very warped. It's not up against the paver bricks, and you can see that the pavers have settled and they're loose. The sand has come out, and you can just see that that's just not really good. And they're going to continue to push out and go against this edging that is bowed, so we just need to replace that. So we're going to go ahead, and I bought a few strips of paver edging here, and as you'll see, there are these little pieces of the edging that you can cut and form this along an edge that might be curved or something like that, but that is not the case for us. We are going to go right across that straight edge. So the first step is to remove the old paver edging. So this is probably the most tedious and most difficult part about it. Not to mention, I realized after the fact that I was feeling really bad this day. It was on a Saturday, and it turned out it was COVID. So I am feeling horrible, but the work must be done, because after this, I actually did a lot of lawn reno and had to overseed and put down compost. It was a full day of about 4 or 5 hours of yard work. So anyway, pulling out this old paver edging, and I want to retain the paver spikes. So these are metal spikes. Turns out these aren't too very cheap. They're kind of spendy. So I wanted to reuse them. You can see that edging is just really in bad shape. So I'm laying down the new edging, just making sure that everything is going to lay against there good. Just taking out the last bit of edging at the end here, and then the next step was just to finally get some of these spikes out of the paver edging. They were kind of tedious, as you can see right here. I actually had to get a screwdriver and break open that plastic to get those off of, because some of them were just really locked up into the paver edging. So after it's all done, I've got these paper spikes that I can now reuse for the new edging. But before I do that, I needed to try to figure out the width of the trench, because, you know, there's grass still laying down along these pavers. So I needed to figure out how to clear out the grass, but I didn't want to, at the proper width, so that I could get the right width of laying this new edging in. So what I thought I'd do is nail in a few spikes to kind of give me a guideline to figure out how far back I needed to, or how wide I needed to clear out this trench to lay the new edging. So that's what I've done here, and I took just a paint scraper, as you can see here, and I'm going to use that to remove the grass. So I didn't even need a hammer. Realized that pretty quickly, that I could just push with my hand and dig out all of this grass and stay in a straight line, so that I had the least amount of backfilling and repair on my lawn once this was all done. So I'm going along here, and I'm just clearing this out. While I'm removing the grass, I'm also kind of digging out the trench, so that when I put the new edging in, it has a proper height. So when you put this edging down into the trench, you want to make sure that the edging comes up about halfway up the brick. So you can see right here, that is about where I want the edging to be. It's going to be not protruding above the brick, but not too low, so that it gives maximum support without really showing, because that's not what you want. And so you'll see later where I backfill this with topsoil. But at any rate, we're moving out now the pavers that have settled. And in this area, these are the bricks that had actually started to settle. So when they pushed out, they actually, the base, the compact base that's underneath these pavers, the crushed stone, that actually had shifted as well. So not only am I having to clear out the trench, but I'm having to re-level this base so that I can have a proper, the pavers that I'm correcting can have a proper level to them, right? So putting in more stakes again to just keep me on track as far as the width of the grass that I'm removing. And as I go through here, remove out the remainder of the grass here, I'm actually working on also leveling out that compact base. So this was probably the most involved section of actually getting this set up, so that when I put these bricks back in place, they're level. So as you can see, we've got a nice trench all the way along here. I've gotten the bricks back into place. There is a little bit of a section, as you can see, right along here. That gap is a little low. So I actually went back and corrected that so that I could level up those backs of those bricks, you can see right there. So once that was done, we went ahead and got the new edging in place just so that we can get an idea as far as how much I needed to cut off of this last section, because I had a little bit of overlap once I got these in, but I'm just wanting to make sure that everything is at the proper height and everything is pretty much even. So I marked this last piece of edging here so that I could take it back and cut that piece and then bring it back and put it into position. And once I got it back, it was a nice level and even fit. So we are now ready to pretty much get all this paver edging secured and get it into place. So what I'm doing now is I am going along here just to verify one more time. Here is the edging in its place just before I go ahead and start to nail them up. So I'm pulling out all the stakes that I had removed, and now I am kind of spacing them out evenly along here just to make sure that I've got everything lined up properly and got all my stakes accounted for and in the right spot. And then I'm just going ahead and nailing these in. Now, one thing that's kind of important about putting these stakes in is that you want to kind of angle that stake back a little bit. And I'll zoom in so that you guys can kind of see the what I'm talking about. But you want the top of that stake to kind of tip or lean towards you a little bit, so that the point of it as you're driving it down is going to be going kind of underneath the paver, not really underneath the paver, but here's what I'm talking about. See how it's leaning back towards me just a little bit. So what it's going to do is it's going to push that edging right up against, and notice how I'm keeping that edging up against the edge of the paver as I'm driving this stake in. And that's just to make sure that it's nice and tight up against there, so that once you get all of the stakes in, you're going to have a nice secured edging, and it's going to keep those pavers from shifting out like they did before. So as we finish putting in the stakes along here, I'm just going to keep driving the remainder of these stakes to finish securing the rest of the paver edging. So now we are going to sweep in the old dirt, and of course there's not a lot of dirt there, so I'm backfilling with some topsoil to get this all nice and secured. And I like to have nice straight edges here, so I will be seeding over there as well, but I'm trying to smooth this out with a small garden rake just to kind of get everything settled and into the groove as much as possible, and backfilling that trench. And also keep in mind, guys, if you're going to backfill with topsoil, just know that you're going to get some settling. So don't be afraid to have it a little higher than what it should be, or what you want it to be, because there will be settling that takes place. And of course, it will go down a little bit, and then you'll have the room for the grass to actually grow up along that edge. So I'm just kind of walking across this, packing it down a little bit. And that is the finished product. But we are not yet done with this process, because as you can see, between the bricks, there are gaps. And what you want to do with those gaps is you want to fill that in. You don't want to leave that so where dirt and even worse, ice during the winter months when it freezes up, it will push these bricks apart and really start to deteriorate the paver patio. So we need to fill that in. And this is what we use. We use polymeric sand, and this is joint sand where you put this into the between the cracks. You can sweep it in by just dumping it on the pavers and sweeping it in. But when I had this patio re-leveled professionally, I saw the contractors doing this. They started with just kind of filling in the cracks with a cup along the edge. I thought this was really good, a good technique to help with just getting the maximizing the efficiency, right? And as you can see, this is a brick without sand. You can see how it's shifting. It's loose right there. But then when you look at the stones that have the sand, they're nice and tight. So anyway, that is that's the difference, right? That's why you want the sand in here, is to firm these bricks up nice and tight. So once you get all of that sand in, you need to wet it. Follow the instructions, but you'll wet it until it pretty much doesn't take any more water.
And that is my process of repairing and replacing my paver edging and fixing the shifting pavers. I hope you guys found this useful for those of you that are looking to repair your own pavers. And be sure to stay tuned for my next episode, which is going to be my fall renovation. I've actually renovated some areas and reseeded the entire lawn. And then I'll take you through the entire process of me fixing some trouble areas in my lawn, as well as a reseed, overseed the whole bit. It's all in the next video. Look forward to seeing it in. Until next time, take care. I'll see you in the next one.